What is happening, and welcome to another four-wheel drive talk episode. And friends, today we're going to be addressing a question that keeps coming up. Now, many of you, while watching these videos, we understand are just getting involved into camping or thinking about, hey, I'd like to get involved in camping, but not quite sure where to start. So today's episode, we're going to be taking a deep dive, a comprehensive guide on how to get started in camping. Now, I do want to clarify up front, this video is really aimed at those who are just getting started in camping and not quite sure where to start. So as I mentioned a moment ago, we see a lot of your questions coming through, and if that is you, if you are sitting like, wow, I'd like to get out there, I'm not quite sure how far down the rabbit hole I want to go with this, but I'd like to try it out, but I'm not sure where to start. This video, you're going to want to grab a pen and paper. We're here to help you get the most out of your camping experience and not to mention have a little fun in the meantime. All right, friends, before we go diving into all the goodness here, there's that whole YouTube algorithm that really digs it when you crush that like button, and honestly, so do we as well. So if you find some value with this video, we sure would appreciate. Somebody didn't turning down their volume there. We sure would appreciate you hitting that like button. That said, my friend, pull up a seat in. Let's go. Now, before we get going into this video here, what I'm going to be doing, you're going to be hearing me kind of referencing different items here that are really important towards getting out there and camping. And what I'm going to do is, I understand many of you have a budget here, many of you have a budget here, or you should establish a budget. Many of you are, hey, I'm just going to stick my toe into this for now. Many of you just know for sure you're going to love this and you're going to go head deep into this. I don't know what your budget is. So what I will do down below in the notes, so if I'm talking about a tent recommendations, I'm going to give you a few options that I recommend. If I'm talking about sleeping bags, I'm going to put a few different price options down there as well. So anyway, there will be a few links of these things down below. Now, first is first, as we start talking about this here, you're going to need to decide, before you go getting any sort of gear, you need to decide where you want to go camping. Are you going to be looking for remote wilderness experience or something more developed like a campground with running water and a shower? Because let's be honest, a little bit of luxury never hurt anybody. Now, once you've decided your destination, it's time to start planning. Next, you'll need to decide what kind of gear that you're going to need. And friends, when I say gear, I don't mean a fancy $3,000 tent, $1,000 sleeping bag. I mean the cheap-ass tent that you bought at Walmart for 20 bucks and a sleeping bag that you stole from your little brother. Seriously, you're going to need a tent. You're going to need a sleeping bag. You're going to need a sleeping pad at the very least. Now, you also need a camping stove and cookware if you plan on cooking your own meals, but hell, if you're not a cook, don't worry. You can always survive on trail mix and granola bars. Or actually, on that matter, I'll put links down below to Mountain House and Peak Refuel Meals. Those are a absolute food group on their own. Now, other items to consider is you're going to need a lantern, a headlamp, first aid kit, and a cooler to keep your food fresh. Now, when it comes to tents, though, there are a few options to choose from. You have dome tents, cabin tents, which are great for families and groups, while backpacking tents, which you're going to see when you start doing some searches, are more designed for solo or two-person trips. So when choosing a tent, friend, make sure you consider the number of people who you're going to be sleeping in this thing and the type of camping that you're going to be doing. Just remember, the more people, the more chances that someone's going to be snoring. Now, next on the list is the trusty sleeping bag, and these things come in a variety of different shapes, sizes, temperature ratings. So when choosing a sleeping bag, consider the type of camping that you're going to be doing in the temperature rating that you'll need as well. And if you're a cold sleeper, don't forget to bring a warm and cozy companion. And then there's the sleeping pad. These are a great way to add extra insulation or thermal barrier underneath you, not to mention comfort for your camping setup. Now, these come in a variety of different materials, thicknesses, so you can choose the one that best suits your need. Just remember, be sure not to get too comfortable, because otherwise, well, hell, you're not going to want to get out of the tent in the morning. But on that note, there are, over the years, I've tested a number of these things out. Now, if you happen to be a picky sleeper like me, look, they have sleeping pads that are super thin, and I find them more, it sure beats sleeping on the ground. That's a fact. Then there are ones that, which is what I use. I use the X-Speed Mega Mat. Now, before you go choking on when you see the sticker shock of this thing, let me say I was in the same boat. I didn't buy this thing for 4 months because when I saw the price of this thing, I want to say I paid $489 is ringing a bell in my head. I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to spend $489 on a stinking air mattress. Nope, not going to happen. I sat on this in the back of my head. I kept seeing reviews or people talking about this darn thing. And then I decided, okay, I started reading some reviews. And then there was one review I will not forget. I saw it on Amazon. Somebody started talking about how they compared this X-Speed Mega mattress to their $1,000 mattress that they had in their home and said this thing was a better sleep for them. Honestly, that did it for me. While I was not excited at first that I was spending nearly $500 on an inflatable stinking mattress, I can tell you one thing, it wasn't long after I got this thing that I was like, wow, this was, from a sleeping standpoint, this was one of the best investments that I've made in my camping, my overlanding rig that I go heading out. This thing is by far, it is what it's cracked up to be. I don't know whether I'd say it's as comfortable as my mattress in my home, but in terms of sleeping out in the woods, man, I've never slept this good. So again, I'll put a link to that one and some other ones that I've tested in the past that are a little bit less on the price side. But yeah, you want to look into this one. And this is actually one of those items that you want to flex your budget. Now, if you plan to do any cooking, we have camping stoves coming up next. Now, there are a ton of options to choose from. Now, some of these stoves run on fuel. Others are going to be designed to run on wood. Others propane. Just be sure that the stove is appropriate for the type of camping that you're going to be doing. And if you plan on cooking a gourmet meal, make sure to bring your own chef's hat.
They're making a poopity corn. They're making a poopity corn.
I don't know where I came up with that one, but anyways, I'm going to own it, go with it. And while talking about camping, something that's super important these days, if you plan on cooking over fire, make sure that you can have a fire in the first place. You may be in an area that has a fire ban, so you can get the information by calling the fire department or the ranger station near where you're going to be heading out, or for that matter, you can find this information online. Personally, if I'm going to an area where I know there may be fire bans, I like to just be safe about it. Call the ranger station or the fire department. If you can have a fire, well, look, friends, be safe about it. Now, I know that some of you may be thinking, well,
Alex, I don't know how to start a fire.
well, friend, that is okay because neither do I, but I do know how to use a lighter and some kindling. Actually, I'm going to put some links down below to some fire starters that work really fantastic for campsite. Now, on that topic, cookware is another important piece of gear. Now, you're going to need pots and pans to cook your meals, as well as utensils and plates to eat them on it as well. Just be sure to choose cookware that is lightweight and easy to clean. And for those of you that are not fan of doing your dishes, well, get some paper plates and don't forget some trash bags. Don't litter. Put it in a trash bag. And before I go jumping off into the lanterns or the lighting side of this here, while on the cooking side of this here, if you're not one that's going to be cooking out there, rather than surviving on the granola or the grape nuts or whatever the heck you want to eat out there, but you want to eat those freeze-dried meals I was telling you about out there, you still need to boil water. And one item that I would heavily recommend is a jet boil. So it's going to run on a little butane canister about this big, and it folds down. You can actually break this thing down to about this, and it will boil water. I think his claims say like a minute and a half or 2 minutes. Either way, it's crazy fast, and that works perfect for these peak refuel and mountain house meals. Again, I'll put a link down below to that. Now, next, we're going to talk about a lantern or a headlamp as a great way to light up your campsite. It's also a good idea to bring a flashlight. Actually, you always want to have a flashlight with you, and extra batteries in case of emergencies. And in case if you're afraid of the dark, well, don't forget to bring your nightlight. Now, also, we want to have a first aid kit, at least one in your vehicle and one with you at all times. Now, jumping on Amazon, again, there are a ton of these things, so you really want to look past a lot of my experience on Amazon. You're going to find a lot of these with a lot of fluff. I'm going to put the links down below to some of the first aid kits that I have myself. But really, at the end of the day, you want the first aid kit to include bandages, antiseptic wipes, pain relievers, and any other essentials that you may need in case of emergency. And if you are an accident-prone person, well, don't forget to load that sucker up with some extra Band-Aids, because I can tell you right now, most of the kits that you get from Amazon, they're going to have a handful of Band-Aids. They're usually the cheaper Band-Aids. berries in there. So you want the good ones with the Superman or Spider-Man, whatever your flavor is.
I'm Batman.
I'll get them ahead of time and stuff it in there. Now, next, we're going to talk about you need a cooler. Now, a cooler is a must-have item on any camping trip because it will keep your food and your drinks fresh. And it's perfect for storing perishable items like meat and dairy products. And if you want to make sure that your beer stays cold, bring extra ice or bring enough ice. And something also, as you're looking at coolers, you're going to notice a big price range in these things as well. Kind of similar to like the sleeping bags or the tents that we spoke about. Actually, for that matter, all camping gear. You're going to see inexpensive ones and you're going to see pricey ones. I have a Yeti one down in my garage. I paid almost $300 for this thing, but it is built like a stinking tank. And the walls of this thing, you can get this thing cool, and it's going to keep stuff inside of it for a very long time. And I want to say that thing's bear proof as well. But again, I'll put links down below. So now with all that out of the way, you have all your gear. It's time to start thinking about what you need to pack. So be sure to bring enough clothes to stay warm as well as a sturdy pair of hiking boots and shoes. You'll also want to bring plenty of water and snacks, as we kind of spoke about that already, as well as a map and a compass if you're heading into the wilderness. And all you city slickers out there, well, heck, don't forget to bring your GPS in case you get lost in the great outdoors. Now, this area right here, when we're talking about clothes, or we're talking about attire that you're bringing, this is something that, going back to the beginning of this, that planning aspect of this, also understanding very well what that weather is going to be like. So as you're planning to head out, if you're heading out in winter, well, heck, you're going to be wearing different clothes than if you're heading out in the summer. You know where you're going to be heading, so plan accordingly. And when it comes to clothes, it's important to bring a variety of layers. So you're going to want to have a base layer to wick away sweat, a mid layer for insulation, and an outer layer to protect you from the elements. And if you're not sure what the weather is going to be like, bring extra clothes because, better safe than sorry. Next, when it comes to hiking boots and shoes, these are an essential piece of gear, and they're also going to keep your feet protected and provide you with the support that you need when hiking. So be sure, this is something very important, be sure to break in your boots or shoes before you go out on the trip. Friends, I've seen it. I've seen people go out and they're heading out with these boots that their feet are killing them because they were not properly broken in. And if you're like me, who has a tendency of leaving things behind, well, at least pack a spare pair of shoes. So therefore, you aren't hiking around in a set of flip-flops, which isn't the end of the world, but then you have nasty, dirty-ass feet when you get in your tent at night. And folks, there you have it. With the right gear planning and a sense of humor, you're ready to hit the next camping trip or adventure in no time. So pack up your bags, grab your friends, hit the trails, and just remember, if you get lost, well, heck, just follow the sound of other people's terrible camping music. But friends, that is all I have here for you today. Let's end today's video with a quick review of our current giveaway. We have 3 excellent prizes up for the grab. We have a tailgater tire table, Black Rifle coffee, and of course, the $100 Amazon gift card. Now, as always, entering the giveaway is really simple. Step 1, you gotta like this video, subscribe to our channel. Step 2, leave a comment below. In fact, the more of our videos that you watch and leave a comment on, the more chances that you have to win. So, well, by all means, get watching some other videos and leave some comments. Step 3, register on 4-Wheel Drive Talk and introduce yourself in the forum. Now, if you happen to register on the site already during one of the last giveaways, you're still eligible to win, but as I keep saying over and over again, swinging by, say hello. We would love to see you. And friends, that is it. For complete details on the giveaway, including how to say hello in the forum or how to register on the site, check out the description below. Good luck. And friends, boy, that was a bit of a mouthful. See, I try to get through this as quickly as I can. I think we're going to end up about 15, 18 minutes. I was trying to get underneath 15 minutes to make this a quick and easy to digest video, but it was, there's a lot of stuff that we had to pack and bake into this thing. So at any rate, getting started in camping is all about having, this is what I said a moment ago, when you have the right gear, the right planning, man, you are going to enjoy it. And especially if you have a little one, kids that you're bringing along. I can tell you right now, if you watch some of my other videos where you hear me talking about camping when I was a kid, some of my best memories as a kid was when I went camping. And so these days I have my little monster that I bring out with me. many of you, if you've been watching my videos, you see him running around from time to time in these things. But again, this is a magical time for them. And again, getting out camping, especially if you live in an urban environment like I do, getting out there is a nice way to recalibrate your compass. But anyways, I hope you found some value with this video. If you did, well, it's that time of the video where I'm going to ask you to do all that YouTube stuff right now. So please consider hitting the like button, subscribe button, so you don't miss any future videos that we may come out with. Be sure to hit all notifications. And friends, that is officially all I have here for you today. So I'm going to be shutting out these cameras. You get out there, stay healthy, and find your adventure.